All right, let's get a little bit more of this board meeting done. I'm dragging a little bit today. Well, we've just discovered in our last episode that this guy here, Mr. Sam Desue, is just as good at lying as Kelsey. He's just as good at saying nothing while talking as Kelsey was. So it's very good to see that he's a professional technocrat who can talk and say nothing, and that's how they are. That's the whole class of these people do that. Um, it's good to see the board. This board. This is the first board that I can remember since Lynn Learback. I don't know. Those of you who go way back with me on this, I got to go way back. I've been watching these for so long. Lynn Learback was the last board member that had his own mind. And Kitzhaber, that corrupt piece of shit, kicked him off the board. At the same time, he installed fucking Warner. Poor Pootie. Poor Pootie. Pootie. What are we going to do with you? Okay. Pootie. Anyway, we're, they just asked this hack about The Apprentice, and he gave this ridiculous nothing answer, and they let it go by. But now we're on to the next part of the meeting, which is his bullshit report. So let's see General Manager Desue's report. See him nice like Mussolini. Look at
All
that.
right, I think we need to
move
okay. On. We're not going to get too.
Yeah, and then remember Warner ended the conversation. He saw this was going in a bad direction. He said, "Let's move it along, folks. We don't want to talk about this anymore because it's looking bad." Okay.
So I'd like to go to
attaboy, Bruce. Always reliable, Bruce.
And maybe you could be brief today, since I think we do have a large agenda.
Thanks, President Warner. Also, members of the board, everyone, thank you for being here today. This morning, we will share timely information on COVID-19 and our next steps, our February ridership. We're going to also show you how we're enhancing the customer experience, the quarterly performance report, and then finally an update on our business plan.
Yeah.
I'll start by beginning with the COVID update.
And these people here, they don't have any idea of what's going on in the real world. They're in their elite bubbles. They're making a fortune in an elite bubble, pretending that they're enhancing the customer experience, which we all know, those of us that watch this daily, know is a complete and total lie. Hobo. What am I going to do with Hobo and Pootie? I don't know what to do with those guys. I like the hell out of them, but boy, they are so frustrating.
We are closely monitoring the Portland area and county protocols as we begin to emerge from a year of lockdowns. All three counties we serve are now in the medium risk category for COVID, and our statewide counts have dropped dramatically. At Trimet, we continue to follow all of our COVID-19 safety protocols,
which is nothing.
Requiring masks, offering masks, and hand sanitizer on board. Really cleaning and sanitizing our vehicles nightly and throughout the day.
Yeah, they do it.
It's great news to see the timeline has moved up for our frontline and mission-critical workers to get vaccinated.
Mission-critical workers. Mission-critical workers that you're trying to screw daily. You won't even give... Yeah. These poor guys.
Announced that frontline workers will be eligible for the vaccine no later than April 19th. And Washington Governor Inslee has already authorized vaccines for frontline workers. So because of that, we are encouraging our employees that live in Washington State to get vaccinated. It's another step to really protect themselves, their families, and our customers. We're in close communications with Oregon Health Authority as well, as we are ready to move forward with vaccinations for our frontline employees as soon as we get the green light. I know that it's been a long haul for everyone, but it's looking more and more like the end of the pandemic is within sight.
Within sight?
Still, though, it's important for us to remember that we must follow the guidance of our health experts.
He's reading this.
I'd like to just pause here for a moment and really talk from the bottom of my heart
personally, Jesus.
to really thank all of our employees especially those on the front line and mission critical staff that have helped our customers to get where they need to go safely. And as a member of the executive team, I can speak for all of us when I say that you've inspired us. You employees, all of you, you have inspired us with your strength, your resiliency.
I hope you employees are enjoying this baloney. I hope you're enjoying this. Boy. Shovel that shit, Desue. Shovel it high.
And your commitment every day to keep our people moving safely and also keep the region moving. So I just want to thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. Moving on.
Bottom of your heart.
February,
yeah. I believe you, Sam. I believe you.
2.7 million rides.
What?
While that's substantial, it's notable down 63% from February last year. I believe the keys to the decline in ridership last month was the snow and ice storm that we faced and the continued impact from the pandemic. Our weekly bus ridership was also down 63%. On Max, our weekly ridership was down just over 65%. And on West, we declined 79.5% over this time last year. Just want to put a note here. Remember that West is running every 45 minutes instead of every 30 minutes due to the service cuts. We do expect that our customers will begin to come back on board as vaccines become available to more people. And we really look forward to that day. However, though, we are on it, and we are doing things already now to start recovery.
I don't know about Sammy, boy. No, not trying to be. Don't get me all jacked up over that word. I mean, Sammy here. I'm not sure his act.
Riders, and one of those efforts is an improvement to our website. With that,
watch
I would like
he's
to ask
reading
Executive
this.
Director of Public Affairs, J.C. Vanetta, and Manager of Marketing and Rider Communication, Dave Whipple, to show us how
Public Affairs and Marketing. You know, who knows? It's probably $500,000 in salaries between these two guys, and they don't do anything. I mean, marketing and public affairs is just crap, man. Pork. Let's hear what they say.
how we're improving the customer experience through this big change on our website. JC.
That's awesome. Thank you, Sam. President Warner, members of the board. As we look to bringing riders back to the system, we want to make sure the customer experience is absolutely the best we can deliver. One of those pieces and our largest tool is our website. We've taken on a complete overhaul of our website, and I'm excited to share a quick update. Dave Whipple is here, but first a quick shout out and thank you to our IT.
What is this? Look at this now. What is this? Look at what they're doing. You know, look at what they're doing. They're just moving ahead with all of this nonsense, even though ridership is down 60%. But that's not stopping them from doing all this other shit, is it? They just keep going forward. They're going to suck up that money, spend it on all this nonsense. That's what they're going to do.
They have been absolutely integral for our success. And with that, Dave, take it away and show them all the fun things that we have.
You bet. Thanks, JC. Hi, President Warner, directors, and welcome, Dr. Lewis. I'm Dave Whipple, Manager of Marketing and Rider Communications and Public Affairs, and we are excited to share progress so far on a major upgrade to Trimet.org. And Trimet.org is, as JC mentioned, the agency's primary website. This has been a good partnership with our enterprise development team in IT. And as we'll get to in a second, you'll see this incorporates technology that was developed as part of the Open Trip Planner and MOD grant work that you may have heard about in the past from GIS and Mobility Manager Bibiana McHugh. So my team is responsible for managing many of our external communication channels, which are primarily digital. This includes our websites, our social media, mobile tools for riders, and Trimet.org is truly our primary channel for communicating with customers, for getting feedback from them, giving them the tools and information they need to become a regular rider and successfully complete and repeat their trips on transit. So we are currently beta testing a new version of the site, and Jeff, if you will, the first next slide, please. Just for a little background to set the stage as to where we've been and the role that the site plays, to give some context, the site was first created in 1996, and since then it's grown and evolved over time to be a highly used and trusted
800 million page
self-service
views.
information
What is
hub,
it?
essentially, for getting transit info in the Portland area. Pre-COVID, the traffic that we had received...
I use rosecitytransit.org when I'm in town. I don't use their crappy. Rose City Transit's the best one.
At Trimet.org was around 8 million page views a month. And that number has dropped significantly over the last year, as has our ridership. But we still have a sizable audience and demand, and we believe that traffic will ultimately recover as well. We know that for many, many people, Trimet.org is the first point of contact with our brand and with our system. So it's very important in terms of serving our customers and a very powerful marketing tool for the agency. Jeff, next slide, please. As far as what our customers come for when they visit Trimet.org, we know that 95%, give or take, are a vast majority of our traffic, are people coming for what we call our trip tools, the suite of tools that help people get around, get from point A to point B. People want to know when their bus or train is coming. They want to plan a trip from one place to another, check for active service alerts, look for schedules and maps on the lines they plan to use. And
this is what I call completely useless fluff. It doesn't mean anything. I don't know why they're covering it. What does this have to do with anything? Who cares about this? Do you care? I don't care. Does the board care? I doubt it. Is this of any relevance to anything? No. It's just like, well, we need to fill up this meeting with something. So let's put this on here like this is important. This is the least important thing to be talking about.
Putting those trip tools right on the homepage, which has been our design strategy for a few years now, we've capitalized on that audience and that attention, and we're really trying to make it as easy as possible for website visitors to take that next step, which is taking the trip. Jeff, next slide, please. We also know, as far as how people use the site, and this all of this insight helps us make really good design decisions when we have a project like this. We know that 70% of people visiting Trimet.org are accessing it on a phone. And this informs the design strategy that we've been gradually building in over the last few years, and that is making it app-like, making it work really well on a phone. This is referred to as a mobile-first design, and it doesn't mean you have to have a smartphone to use it. It just means for those who are using smartphones, it's going to adapt, it's going to respond to the size of
I don't care about this. Move it forward.
Things.
I'm moving it forward. I don't care. It's completely
information to the public, but it's also what they expect.
All right, let's go back.
And we are accepting feedback from customers and employees and board members. I would invite the board to please try it out and weigh in if you like. There's more information and a feedback link at trimet.org/beta, which is a little different URL than this one, which is beta.trimet.org. But that page, trimet.org/beta, has a little more background, a couple different options for providing feedback. And of course, your feedback is always welcome to send to me directly as well. So Jeff, yeah.
David, I wanted to stress to the board, one of the things that I want to passionately say to all of you, in the past we have been almost a wholesaler when it...
Wouldn't it be nice? I mean, wouldn't it be nice if whoever takes a new general manager cleaned house over there at Trimet and swept out all this management? Wouldn't that be fucking glorious? It would be just so glorious if you just cleaned house of all this old management. Get rid of all these McFarland holdovers, man. Get them out. Get some new people in here. I'm tired of these careerists that are been sucking down the tax money and doing nothing basically.
Came to transportation, and now we're really looking at how we appeal to individual riders and customers. People have a lot of choices, and we are really working to give them an experience that they might have gotten with Lyft or with Uber, even Lime and Bird. and really try. So this is our homepage. It is unlike we've ever done before or any other transit system, because we are trying to be there for our customer first.
This
And
is
so
painful.
it is
This is
definitely
painful.
how we're presenting our online.
You know, after that last debate, now we have to listen to this fluffiness. It's useless. Nobody cares about any of this. No riders, no board, not me. It doesn't mean anything.
Information to the public, but it's also what they expect. So it's pretty exciting. Go ahead,
JC,
Dave. Sorry, I just wanted
you
to
really
stress
need
that.
to go back behind the scenes.
You bet. Well, first, as you'll notice, this is the desktop version, which means on a desktop PC with a large screen.
I don't care about this.
You
Move
are
it
first
forward.
presented with a map and changes.
Move it forward.
That's one of the lowest in the past 5 years.
All right. Are we at something else? All right.
But also, this is, again, as I said, a beta test. So in a way, this is starting the conversation with riders, starting the conversation with stakeholders, and getting some good feedback already, and looking for additional feedback as we continue to refine this prototype, and eventually.
Nobody cares. This is the last thing we care about. Okay. Nobody cares. Okay. Get the goddamn service back to 100%.
That's an overview of our progress so far. We're happy to be getting some.
You're spending money on
feedback
this
from riders so far, along with some really great suggestions for improvements for future features, both from employees and riders. Thank you for your time, and look forward to any feedback you have on the beta site, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
So, JC, Dave, thank you. Very impressive. I want to just thank both of you and then everyone involved.
Get the chair.
In IT and marketing divisions.
Oh, God, you stupid.
Who's really making this improved customer experience come to life.
This is ridiculous.
So, with time,
it's embarrassing,
we're going to
man.
go ahead and move forward to the next presentation. Next, I would like to ask Manager of Service Performance and Analysis, Miles Crumley, to present a quarterly performance report.
Okay, this might have some value.
Miles.
Okay, let's hear this. This is something worth listening to. That other one was just a waste. Come on, Miles. Come on.
Good morning, Board President, Board of Directors.
All right, let's see what we got.
My name is Miles Crumley. I'm the Manager of Service Performance.
Miles
and Analysis here at
Crumley.
Trimet.
Hey, take a look at him, man. Look at him.
The 2020 fourth quarter quarterly report.
See him? Right
In
here.
this report, we continue to maintain safe operating environment for customers and staff in the face of a pandemic, civil unrest, wildfires, and a sustained 60% decline in ridership. Through all of that, MAX, bus, and West on-time performance was above 90%. Our rail rule violations have continued to decline, and our bus collision rate remains at one of the lowest in the past 5 years.
Yeah, well, there's nobody on the road. But that's good. That's good news. All good news.
Next slide, please.
Max on.
So this chart here shows bus and MAX on-time performance. From the last time that we were here, the on-time performance for bus.
I don't know if these are reliable. As we know about the MAX, they have this method of turning trains around, which puts them back on time. Now the bus, I don't know. I'm not sure how they calculate these figures, but it makes sense that they would be a little bit better now. I don't know. Is there less traffic? I heard the traffic is bad, but there's just no passengers, right? Is that it? I mean, there's more calls than ever on the radio, but I guess that's not really representative of how many people are riding.
Was right around 86.8. Currently, it's at 94.4%, and MAX is holding steady right around 90%. We're continuing to emphasize leaving the yard on time.
Bus is 94. Bus is 94% on time. Is that actually accurate? 94. Actually, yeah, right. I don't know. I wonder about that.
Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, has led to increased bus.
The pandemic. It wasn't the pandemic that fucked up everything, by the way.
Next slide, please.
It was government.
West on-time performance continues to grow from 93.9% from last year to 98.3%. And with the introduction of positive train control, we've experienced fewer delays from the prior year. Next slide, please. Fixed route operator complaints. We did see a spike in complaints at the start of the pandemic, but the number has fallen back to where it was probably a year ago. So previously we were at 11.5 complaints per 100,000 boardings, and now we're looking at 13. For Max, we're seeing more or less, in the data world, we would call that hump between 1.8 and 2.1
I have to cut right here.
flat.
I'll be back.
So we are seeing more or less.
Okay, we're back.
Rail rule violations continue to fall. We have fewer new operators in the most recent months.
Yeah.
And our OCC rail control has now has safety announcements that go out for the rail controllers to assist them as they operate their vehicles. So between last year and quarter 3 of 2020, the rate has fallen from 66.1 per 1 million miles to 47.3. Next slide, please. Lift miles between road calls continues to show good performance overall. Previously last year we were at 67, we'll call that 68,000 miles between road calls, and now we're at 57,000 between road calls. While this may indicate that the vehicles are less reliable, we've had to rely on older vehicles due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The older vehicles that we have allow for more capacity, which increases the distance between the operator of the vehicle and our customers. Next slide, please.
Boy, it's just boring.
Fixed route bus mean distance between failure has increased from previous. Previously, we were at 8,000 miles between road calls. Now we're about 11,600. We've had fewer failures related to the engine and body frame, and we're continuing to work on fixing those body frame issues such as doors, bell cords, and operator seats. So body frame issues are more of a customer comfort type area. Next slide, please. For Max, main distance between flat failure, again, in the data world, we call that roughly flat. It's previously was 11,221. Now it's at 11,516. And so we're pretty pleased with that rate so far. Next slide. Fixed route bus collisions per 100,000 miles. We have seen a slight increase from where we were in quarter 2, 2020, which was right at the heart of the pandemic. We are starting to see that rate increase. However, we have had an influx of newer operators, and so we at some point would expect this to level off. Next slide, please.
Max collisions.
Max collisions, we've seen an increase from 1.02 to 1.32 collisions per 100,000 miles. Because of how much service we operate on Max, this jumped from 1.02 to 1.32, while on the chart looks very large, it's actually pretty small because of the infrequent number of collisions that occur on the actual Max.
I don't know, we hear a lot of collisions on the radio, but I don't know, whatever you say, I guess, you know, you still seems like they're hitting a lot of cars to me.
System. So again, we would call that flat. Next, please. And those are all the slides. Are there any questions regarding the quarterly performance report?
Boy, was that boring. This is deadly.
Miles, as the board think about questions, I just want to thank you and your team for all of the hard work.
Oh, here we go. Jesus
also want to thank
Christ.
the operations employees. These last 30 days here, we've dealt with what PGE has called the worst snowstorm in the last 40 years. Dealt with snow and ice, the pandemic, and also doing a lot of good state of good repair. Incredible efforts that are going on by our employees.
What is this?
So thank you. Mr. President, are there any questions on the quarterly presentation?
I see Keith and Ozzy's hands still up. I don't know whether that's from the last one or if they have comments now.
Okay, let's get some comments.
This is Ozzy.
That was a terrible presentation. That was so boring. All of it.
Yeah, I'll bring my hand down, but we'll take the opportunity to echo the gratitude. General Manager Desue, I really appreciate your work. I know that you were doing a lot on the operations side throughout that record-setting winter storm. And certainly, just from the user's perspective, it was wild out there. So, you know, having to address passenger safety and logistics in those conditions, I just want to thank you thank the staff, thank the operators. I can only imagine the amount of patience and safe and customer service that had to take place in those moments. So I know that that's when I think Trimet's best shine. So thank you so much to everyone out there that helped navigate that in the best way possible. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
I want to echo Director Gonzalez's remarks as well. I won't elaborate, but it's certainly a yeoman's job that's been done by Trimet during these certainly difficult times at best. My hand should have been down, but hopefully it's down now.
It is.
Oh. Are we done with all that?
Okay. Thank you both very much, and I will definitely pass the information to staff.
That was brutal.
Finally, I would like to ask Director Ellen Leto to bring us up to speed on the business plan.
Oh, yeah, maybe Leto is usually better with this shit.
Yes, thank you. Hopefully you can hear me. I will be as brief as I can, though this is an important milestone for the business plan as I am presenting the final version. And that was, of course, included in your packet. What I want to do is just give you a little context and a little highlight overview, and that should do it. For context, of course, the business plan is a strategic plan that we do for a 5-year look ahead. So this one is for FY22 through FY26. But we update every year because circumstances keep changing, especially in the last year or two. It lays out our goals, objectives, measures, targets, and key strategic actions. And it embodies our vision, mission, and values. Our mission to connect people with valued mobility options that are safe, convenient, reliable, accessible, and welcoming for all. And
all are welcome,
safety,
right,
inclusivity, equity, community, and teamwork.
Yeah, right. Okay.
As you know, this will trigger the beginning of the fiscal year, which is July 1st. The draft, this is the final, but the draft has been out since January. I presented it to the board in January. It's been available to the public. I've talked with TIAC and CAT and done a special session with CAT, gathered comments, and excuse me. The reason we do this on this schedule is because we present the final business plan at the same time that we present the proposed budget, so that the development of each are in tandem, so that the strategic efforts of the business plan are informing the budget, and the needs and capacities of the budget are informing the development of the business plan. The draft, of course, is still on the website for the public, but this final will be posted very soon. This has been a year of challenges and accomplishments, and hopefully the next year, obviously we'll have challenges, but hopefully we'll have accomplishments as well. Very briefly, of course, you just saw with our ridership reports, COVID-19 has had a big impact on just about everything we've done, our operations, our travel demand, and on the economic prospects of many of our riders. We'll be working on, we're already working on, we will continue to work on how to build back ridership, and that's a big theme within the business plan. Even knowing that commute patterns have changed for some permanently, perhaps, and doing things like recognizing the demand and the growth in demand and the changes and how to balance capital projects and our operating service in response to that. And also doing very important work like implementing the reimagined safety and security efforts in ways that are welcoming for all.
Yeah, right.
To accomplishments, we had 72% of the measures that are still on target, despite some of the disappointments in ridership and some of the other things that are directly impacted by COVID. We've still managed to hit target or do better than on a number of those measures. And there are 26 key strategic actions that have been accomplished. You'll see those as green check marks within the business plan. There are also, in addition, over 80 statements of progress and update on our efforts. So even things where you don't see a green check mark, we've managed to accomplish substantial motions forward on a lot of these key strategic actions towards our goals. And these challenges and opportunities are reflected in our strategic priorities and the points of emphasis that the board discussed earlier in the fall and the winter and helped guide the development of, that has focus on the ridership and customer experience, as you've seen.
It's hilarious.
Reinventing our safety and security.
The ridership and customer experience. They've done nothing. Nothing. It's nothing. It's, I don't know what they're talking about, but
equity and a culture of safety, especially equity and inclusion,
both
for our own employees and, of course, for our riders and customers. And then financial resiliency and maintaining our system given all of the challenges that we're facing. The business plan itself has an updated description of our engagement activities, including how we do so under the constraints of the COVID-19 pandemic that really has to force us to change the ways we reach out. And also our use of the best information and science available to address the cleaning and operations protocols and everything else that we had to do in response to COVID-19. We've updated the key strategic actions and the timing, and updating the format so that it's easier to follow and easier for us to focus and be clear, because that is, after all, the purpose of the business plan, to help the agency as a whole, 3,000 employees, all head in the same strategic direction that is well informed by the board, guided by the general manager and the executive team, and has a role for just about every Trimet employee. Behind this plan, what you don't see is that each key strategic action has an assigned responsible and an assigned accountable member of the Trimet team. And I'll be working with them over the year to make sure that we are making progress and we're updating as needed. So to wrap things up, the business plan here, I present the final for FY 2022, which begins July 1st of 21 and extends to June 30th of 22. Happy to present this and deliver this result of review from dozens and dozens of Trimet employees, the executive team, all of you, CAT and TIAC, and comments from the public. With that, thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Any questions, President Warner, for the board?
I'm seeing Director Edwards, you have raised your hand, it looks like.
I don't have any questions. I've had an opportunity, and I want to thank Alan for the job that he's done as well. He's actually met with us, and I had an opportunity to meet with him as well for some issues and questions that I had. And I want to thank him for that, because I know he has a busy schedule and he had a huge task to put all this together. But it's very comprehensive, it's very thoughtful, and I want to thank him for the work that he's done in presenting that, and also in bringing it to completion. So thank you very much, Alan.
Thank you, Director Edwards.
Alan, I appreciate your diligence as well in keeping us true to our overall business plan. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, President Warner, I just have two quick points I want to make. I want to go back and just visit the ATU update very quickly and just let you know that, and the board know, that a negotiated outcome is the best outcome.
That does not answer the fucking question. Stop saying that. Stop fucking saying that bullshit, you bullshitter.
And it is our hope to continue to work with...
It is not your hope. You're a lying piece of shit. Just like Kelsey and just like McFarland. You're not going to negotiate anything. We've already seen what you're doing. You're lying to us, and we know it.
To you to constructively come to an agreement.
You're a fucking liar.
Scheduled, and we're hopeful again that we can come to consensus as we move forward.
He's a liar. This is all on him. This has nothing to do with the union, all right? Get this through your head. He's the one that wants to cut the apprenticeship program. It's not the union. It's him and the people behind him. It's McFarland. It started with McFarland. It's passed through Kelsey, and now it's him. It's an anti-union move. And we already know the truth. It's got nothing to do with the union. This is him lying to you with a straight face.
The next area I want to just point out to you as well is that, as you stated earlier, we are proud to report the beginning of April 1st that the Montgomery County Sheriff Office will take command of Trimet's Trimet.
Yeah, great.
And the point that I want to really bring to light as well, it's my pleasure to express my appreciation for all of the hard work to our staff. I want to call Marla Blagg out just as well, John Gardner, Tom Marcroft, Eric Van Hagen, and there's so many others that work behind the scenes to have a hand into this process and to actually move us to approval. There's some folks that I really want to call their name out just as well from the public. I would also like to thank Jan Campbell and Claudia Robinson and Maura White and Mayor Steve Cal.
Can we get the new general manager? This guy's got to go, okay? He's got no personality. He lies with a straight face. Get somebody in there that has a personality at least. At least Kelsey had a personality. This guy's like a flat. He's like a sandbag.
For their testifying to ensure we have a safe and welcoming system for all.
And he reads
President
it.
Warner,
He does. None of this is off the top of his head. He's reading. He's reading it. It's all scripted.
Your help and leadership through all of this. And I just want to extend a big thank you to everyone who made this a reality. With that said, that concludes my report for this morning.
Oh, God. It's painful, wasn't it? Ugh. Well, that was a terrible... that segment was awful. I mean, just boring drudgery. And then he repeated the same old, we want to come to a negotiate. No, you're the one that's cutting the program. It's got nothing to do with the union. This is you. Okay? It's not the union. This is you. So you're lying to us. We know you're lying. And that's all there is to say.